My name is Nadine Boljkovac, and I'm a senior lecturer in film at Falmouth University in Cornwall, England. To give you some of my history, I completed my PhD in film philosophy at the University of Cambridge, and following that, I had a series of exciting fellowships. Firstly, at the University of Aberdeen, I was a teaching fellow in the Department of Film for a year. Then I was a postdoctoral fellow for a few months at the University of Edinburgh, followed by a one-year postdoctoral fellowship at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, the US. And then I was a postdoctoral fellow as well in the Center for Modernism Studies at the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia. I took up my current senior lectureship in film in Falmouth in 2016, and I'm thrilled and delighted to be a part of the Morphomata Center here now. My current project here at Morphomata is entitled Beyond Herself, Feminist Self-Portraiture in the Moving Image. This project actually develops out of my first monograph, which is entitled Untimely Affects, Gilles Deleuze and an Ethics of Cinema. In that project, I focused on various concepts, predominantly the evocation of time, the body, and memory and loss, as well as the idea of representation itself. What does it mean to attempt to represent something that defies representation? And so, of course, the filmmakers that I chose to focus on, Alan Rene and Chris Marker, were interested in depicting experiences of the Holocaust, of Hiroshima, and more recent historical events. And so when you think about events and experiences such as this, on a personal or even a universal scale, we tend to think of the concept of affect. And so affect plays a huge part in my new project, as well as the concept of perception, which is one that I also interrogated in Untimely Affects. And I considered the notion of perception really in relation to affect. And I came up with the term, actually, in Untimely Affects, of auto-perception, the idea of perceiving someone, but also being perceived at the same time, and what that does, the relation itself, and through the medium of cinema. And of course, we can consider cinema in post-cinematic terms these days, so it's not just a film, but it could also be an installation work and various forms of moving images. For this project, I'm focusing predominantly on international filmmakers and images of women for this project in relation to secondary fields of disability studies and sexuality and gender studies, coming back to my primary focus of film and philosophy. It means a lot for me to be a research fellow at Morphomata. It offers me a chance to focus on my new project, predominantly Beyond Herself, and it's a very luxurious opportunity as a scholar who loves teaching, but also who has now more time to focus in depth on this. And at the same time, we have weekly meetings with my fellow scholars and fellows here at Morphomata, and I have found each and every one of these meetings so far, even though we are only a short time into our semester, I found them incredibly stimulating and motivating. Each fellow here is working on a different time period, a slightly different focus, of course, but we meet under the theme of portraiture and autobiography, however we choose to interpret that. And so I have found all of our discussions incredibly helpful at the same time. So I have this wonderful mix and balance of independent time for work and also a collaborative sense that Morphomata seems to really foster, and I very much enjoy that.